conoscete e sapete che la Coppa America ha sempre vissuto momenti burrascosi.
In America's Cup there has always been its ups and downs.
Però quello che è accaduto è un po' più grave di tante altre situazioni del passato.
But certainly what has happened is much more serious than other situations in the past.
Se noi guardiamo al passato abbiamo avuto
We have seen structural failures in the past, like one Australia sinking, like for example in America.
Allora,
So the first thing is to improve the safety of the sailors, and for that we are thinking of improving the helmets, introducing the body armors, and trying to think about any other possible way of improving safety for the sailor.
per la gestione delle emergenze vuol dire
Regarding dealing with emergencies, we must planify very well all the protocols and all the procedures, both at land and on sea. So we want a very active role on the water. We want a water ambulance. We want professional divers to be ready out, and we want the paramedics to be on the water for the services of all the sailors.
e un elicottero anche per eventuali.
Another thing that we must do is control the limits of the wind speed in the race. Remember that during the event in Newport, all the participants agreed to new wind limits, and those were 25 knots for the Louis Vuitton Cup round robins and semi-finals, and 28 for the finals and of the Louis Vuitton. With these three limits of wind, which is 25, 28 and 33 for the Cup, what we propose is to lower them to 20 knots.
Per la finale,
For the America's Cup match itself, our proposal was to have 25 knots instead of the 33 that currently are in the protocol. Once we establish a wind limit to start the race, we want to also have a wind limit to abandon the race, where the race committee shall abandon the race automatically, and that would be a couple of knots more than the wind limit to start.
o le regole di classe.
This morning we had a meeting with all the teams, the organizers and the America's Cup Review Committee in the legal offices of Gibson, Dunn and Cratchit, downtown San Francisco, and the Review Committee announced that they do not desire to have the authority to decide on what rule changes must be accomplished for this America's Cup. The Review Committee will analyze all the aspects of the competition, but will only produce recommendations. The Review Committee may have recommendations on a wide array of topics, such as structural reviews of the boats, how the starting area needs to be organized, what safety measures can there be for the sailors, additional safety measures, or any other recommendation that they consider appropriate.
E di capire esattamente se c'è qualcuno che vuole assumersi la responsabilità di decidere per gli altri o se invece si fa delle discussioni di carattere democratico.
It's not a problem, it's not a bad idea. It has always been like that. Normally the participants are the ones that establish the rules. And it was in our last meeting in Newport when we fixed the latest limits. Just to give you a little insight, basically the America's Cup, how it works is that the teams, the participants can get together and decide what are the boats, where is the venue, and what are the rules of the competition. So it's part of all the tradition of the American. Right now it's an uncertain moment because we don't have the tools to determine exactly what is the wind the wind levels that we want to sail in or not. So these are the principles. First of all, we need to be free to take the decision on a given day if it's blowing 35 knots not to go out there. And that is our decision, and that must be our responsibility without any penalties from the organizers. Second of all, we are going to start sailing our boat here in San Francisco, and as a result of that sailing, we will start figuring out our internal procedures to know what are our in-house limits for each condition. Here in the bay, the conditions change a lot. It's not the same thing with a float tide or with an ebb tide. We need to learn how the bay is and consider what are our limits and our operational limits. And that's a work that we want to do and start right away. But the important thing is that not to fiddle with all these rules and try to get all the competitors on the table and to make the decision as soon as we can to bring clarity to the America's Cup. To tell you how it works in our sport. In sailing, it's a fundamental principle that it's the responsibility of the sailors and of the skipper to decide if they want to participate in a race or not. It's their own responsibility. They have to decide if they want to go on the water or not. So that's how it should be also in America's Cup. In this America's Cup, that is a bit different because there are some penalties in the rules in case you do not participate in an event. So our first requirement is to respect this old tradition, which is the responsibility of the skipper to decide to go out on the water or not, and to get away those penalties for cases like excess of wind or having the weather being too bad. That's our proposal, and that is how it is. The wind bridge for us is fundamental. The wind cannot be too low or too high. We could even decide to pull out of the event if the decisions that are taken are not the correct ones, the ones that we think are correct. But at the end of the day, the responsibility of the skipper remains, and he can decide in any given day to take part in a race. The first thing is that the review committee doesn't have the power to change the wind speed limits. That has to be an agreement between all the teams. So the review committee of the America's Cup is going to come up with a recommendation, and that recommendation needs to be taken on board by the teams and needs to be formalized in a rule, in an amendment to the rules. So our point, what Mr. Bertelli was saying before, was that if the wind limit was lowered to a ridiculous number, then we wouldn't even participate in the event. Or if it's kept artificially high, we would pull out of the event. But the wind limits need to be within reason. We are not here to produce a show. We are here to sail, to race, and to win the America's Cup.
La domanda deve rivolgere alla CRM e a Larry Ellison e a tutte le persone che hanno deciso tutti questi aspetti.
So you should direct your questions to Larry Ellison and the organizers of the event. They are the ones that took those decisions, and they are the ones that can tell you how important it is, the TV for them.
Dopo l'aspetto sportivo.
For us, the first thing is the sport, the sailing, and television is secondary to the sailing. This morning, we didn't enter into the merits. Obviously, these few weeks we have been, in this week we have been talking with everyone. But the reason why we haven't got into the details with the other competitors is basically because at least part of the competitors were expecting that the 34th America's Cup Review Committee would be granted the authority to decide and impose on all the competitors the changes of the rules. So the teams were not talking about, we were practically the only ones talking about rule changes. They were all expecting for someone else to solve their problems. This morning the review committee has said that they can indeed produce recommendations after they finish their work, but they are not the ones that have to make the rule changes. That will fall under the responsibility of each team. And that was quite of a shock for quite of the participants that insisted that this committee should be granted that power. But it was the own committee, its chairman, that announced that they didn't want to have that responsibility or that authority. This morning only the committee talked, and none of the teams went into the details of what their opinion was regarding our concrete proposals.
Non è stato il protocollo con la regola di classe.
There was not a precise agenda for the meeting this morning. Actually, what was declared was a question of principle by the 34 America Stop Review Committee, and that question of principle was that the Review Committee did not have the authority to make rule changes.
Che la loro attività sarà intensa, cercheranno di capire tutti gli aspetti che ho prima menzionato e che loro si esprimeranno con il termine di raccomandazione.
And that they will work very hard to try to ascertain what happened on the water, to try to come forward with as many recommendations as they can. But at the end of the day, the only thing that they can do is to recommend solutions, and it will be for the teams to take the responsibility to make those recommendations into rules. So we don't know where these rumors come from, if they are official or not official, if they come from authorized sources or not. We just don't know. And all our proposals have been in writing to all the other teams and the organizers, and have been very precise and concise. So that's the way to do it. Put it in writing and make sure that everyone else knows what you're actually proposing.